Hello. My name is Alex, or my Viking name is Holder. And I'm originally from Germany, but I've been living in Scotland for 9 years. And I've been part of Historical Herbalists for 3 years at this point. Started historical reenactment, and we are multi-periods. So today we're representing the Viking Age.
And hi, I'm Jaye, and I'm one of the directors of the Historical Herbalists, and we're here at Heysham Viking Festival presenting our Viking Age and early Anglo-Saxon apothecary. Well, here we're showing people what the early Viking settlers to the British Isles would have been using with the native plants to keep themselves healthy and well, and to be able to recognize the plants that modern people might have in their environment around them, and make that connection between what they see around them in the modern era and what their Viking ancestors and the past people might be using as well.
So basically all the plants that we have on this table behind us are still used in modern herbal medicine. So we have things like juniper berries and peppercorns, we have mugwort, we have hawthorn, motherwort and birch, and all these herbs are not only everywhere, they're like readily available. I mean, peppercorns maybe not that much, but you can always buy them in the shop, but they're still used in modern herbal medicine. So maybe the application has changed, but the herb itself hasn't. There's this lore that we have about the leek and garlic broth that they would feed someone if they suspected a stomach wound, because basically if you have a stomach wound, it's really hard to cure these days. Back in the day that was a death sentence, but if they didn't know what it was, they would feed them this broth, and if they could smell it out of the cavity, then the stomach had been burst, and that was it basically. So I guess these days you wouldn't do that anymore. You wouldn't just give someone a nice broth to feed only to then be like, well, there's nothing we can do for you. However, we would use that for something else. We would use that to treat stomach complaints, for example, or cold infects, like bacterial and viral infects, for example. So it is still helpful, just in a different way.
Well, in the Viking Age, healers were known as leiknir, and this is essentially the word that we use, that we now get the word leech from. So we don't know if people were being called leiknir because they use leeches, or if leeches got their name because the healers were using them. But leeches would have been used in exactly the same way that they're currently being used in modern medicine today, which is to clear bad blood, and to improve the circulation to the microvasculature in the periphery. It's very good for fingers and toes and the hands and feet, for example. But in the Viking Age, people are using them as acute wound care. So we have our boys on the battlefields coming back with nasty injuries, and particularly if they've been marching or walking for a certain period of time and things are starting to fester and become a little bit disgusting. We know that the leeches are very, very good at being able to remove blood from subcutaneous areas, and as they're doing that, they are releasing anticoagulants, and then as they are coming off naturally from the skin, that they're releasing a coagulant, and they're sealing the wound as well. So not only are they removing the bad blood or the infection under the surface, but they are also improving the circulation and the blood flow to the site as well.
So it's not just horrible histories, there is some science behind it.
Absolutely. And they're still being used in the same way today to treat things like peripheral vasculature issues of diabetes patients and things like that.
Or if you have like frost burns and chilblains, that they can really make the absolute spot on application. It works so well, because if you only have one area that needs to be treated, you don't need to treat the whole hand, for example. So you can put a leech onto exactly that same spot, and then it works.